This ModCast is sponsored by Barracuda with Eddie Pillar and Friends.
Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the ModCast. My name is Eddie Pillar and I'm your host. Now, we are joined as usual by our two residents. We've got Mr. Jonathan Owen, actor.
Hello, Edward.
And Dean Rudland, A&R man.
Afternoon, Ed.
Hello, boys, and thanks for coming in, especially to our two guests on episode 5. They are, first, Mr. Stephen Diggle.
Hello, Ed.
A bit of a guitar legend, Buzzcocks founder member and continuer, I suppose, through the entire 30 years of the band. Is that the case, Steve?
Yeah, we spanned a lot of generations now, you know.
I first saw the band in June 1978, and I have to say they were one of the 2 or 3 bands that actually changed my life.
If you look at the Pistols and the Clash records, they was more rock and roll sort of based.
But you had
was quite futuristic.
You had this angry, almost unique sound, I think.
The first one, Spiral Scratch, first time in the studio was with the legendary Martin Hannett.
Yeah.
So as we're recording, I think we recorded the guitars where they kept the trash cans because we didn't want to do the orthodox thing and be in the recording area. And as the engineer was putting the sound right, Hannett would be undoing it all. And amazingly come up with that very unique sound on Spiral Scratch. But by the time we signed to United Artists, then we'd moved to the Great Olympic Studios in Barnes with Martin Rush and this engineer called Doug Bennett. And all those original screens were there, what you see on the Stones film, the Sympathy for the Devil and stuff, where Brian Jones is out in there. All them coloured screens were there.
Yeah, I know.
Before we started Buzzcocks, I used to have all the scooters and stuff like that. You know. In fact, the only reason I started playing the guitar was because I lost my scooter licence. So I thought I'd concentrate a bit more on that. You know, I was grounded to the pub and the guitar. So, you know, I grew up with... When I was 10 years old, I saw a kid go down this... But he used to have this scooter with the Union Jack side panels, and he'd be pushing it forever till that magic moment when it'd start.
Lambretta, then.
Lambretta, it was, absolutely. So from then on, you know, it was like, I want one of those scooters, and I want the Ben Sherman shirt, and all that stuff. So I was always into that. When the punk came along, you know, it was about the attitude as much as anything else. You know, when we brought the Sex Pistols to Manchester, there was no scene until then, and we was the local band, and we put the provinces on the map.
Yeah.
Then it was Liverpool and Sheffield, but it was like...
It's really funny, I was reading a very famous article by Johnny Rotten about 70, late 76, and he said that nothing was going on for him in London that time, and he really rated the Buzzcocks in Manchester. It's a really famous... it's Jane Casey's got it in her book, because she was in big in Japan.
Right.
I was reading the other day, and Rotten was saying he had to go to Manchester to be put on at that time, because in London, people were just going...
Yeah, they've done with Chelsea Outcast, a couple of others. They was relatively known.
How did you get in touch with them, Steve? How did you watch? Did you phone up McLaren or what?
Howard saw them in a club down here and said, you know, come to Manchester and, you know, we'll put a poster up for you, they'll give you a hand. And we had 3 weeks to get the Buzzcocks to get it open up for them. And all the journalists would come and review the Sex Pistols. I went, there's a local band here, you know, we never heard of it.
Local band?
Yeah, because they've never been outside of Watford or somewhere. And it's like, wow, there's something, you know. And suddenly, you know, the Manchester people, you know, adopted Buzzcocks as their band, and the whole town became alive.
To your left, Peter Jones, bit of a man of the moment, otherwise known as Welsh Pete. Long time... Well, Pete, I mean, you've done a lot of things, but recently you're here because specifically you just had 2 internet comedy pilots out on the internet in the same month. The first was called Modern Life is Rubbish, and it features yourself playing a mod who's slightly follically challenged. It's a subject that has been touched upon by the ModCast on a regular basis.
Oh, well, there we are. I mean,
mods losing their hair.
I mean, I'm the youngest here, and I've got less hair than everybody here. I mean, I'm significantly younger than Steve. And
I'm so glad I've got mine, you know.
I don't know.
He's not been through half the stress I have, you know.
Well, no, but it has touched a nerve, it appears, and it was something that I've wanted to do since I started losing my hair, I suppose. Thankfully for me, the trauma of going to a bar is
he's moved on from George Best to Bobby Charlton. He should have kept the 2 pieces on it.
I prefer to call it a Johnny Met Hodge.
Yeah.